revolutionary by sharing a fan bragging story of great customer service by using the hashtag FanBrag or calling the Fan Bragging hotline at 855-FAN-BRAG, FANBRAG. Now back to Angel and Eric, the Experience Pros.
Hey, welcome back to the Experience Pros radio show. Thank you for tuning in. Angel is out on the high seas speaking to a bunch of women entrepreneurs in the Women Making Waves conference. That means you've got me, and I have a fantastic guest for you next. Our next guest is a senior editor of Laurel Elite Books and a seasoned writing coach. She's the 2015 Teacher of the Year nominee for her use of neuroscientific principles. She applies some of these same principles to her work with writers to create confidence and success. That's right. We're talking about Annalisa Parent. She writes for many local, national, and international publications, has written and produced sketches for a Telly Award-winning television show, and she is a firm believer in the Oxford comma, but she'll defer to all the AP-style guidelines when necessary. Annalisa Parent, welcome to the Experience Pros radio show.
Thank you so much, Aaron. It's a pleasure to be here.
It is very nice to have you on board, Annalisa. And interestingly enough, I had to go back and look up the Oxford comma because I think I knew what it was, and sure enough, I did. It's a comma that's used after the penultimate item in a list of three or more items. In other words, A, comma, B, comma, and C, comma. And most people tell you get rid of that last one right before the and. But love that little intro. Very nice to have you on the program. And Annalisa, you are the author of Storytelling for Pantsers, How to Outline and Revise Your Novel Without an Outline. Tell us, what made you decide to write a book on teaching us how to write a novel?
Well, firstly, I work with fiction writers who are aspiring novelists. And so it started with a lot of work with those aspiring novelists and a lot of frustration because there are so many programs and teachers out there in the world who tell these pantsers, these people who don't outline, just outline, what's the problem? And there are 20 million people out there, Aaron, with the idea that they want to write a novel on their bucket list, and only 1 million people get published every year, including self-publishing and traditional publishing. So you can see there's a discrepancy there, and it's my suspicion, although I haven't actually done the research, but based on my empirical evidence as a writing coach, I think that a lot of those people who are would-be novelists are pantsers. So they end up with sort of chapter 1 and chapter 8, and it feels all over the place, and they say, that's not really a novel, and they give up. So I wanted to create a resource that helps that kind of writer to really see that there's a way out of what I call the murky, murky mess to create structure from something that seems unstructured and to actually create a novel out of that hodgepodge.
It's interesting. Angel and I, between the two of us, we have 7 books that have been published, and 4 of them have made the Amazon bestseller list. And it never occurred to Angel, and it has fleetingly occurred to me that I would like to write a novel. But I don't know the first place to start. All my books are based in nonfiction. I can tell you this is how you do what you do. This is what you do and how you do it. Novels seem to be a beast of a different color. Is it true?
Yes and no. I mean, you're speaking to the right person here, Aaron, because the two audiences that I help are novelists who want to traditionally publish and entrepreneurs who are writing their expert books. And so, I'm equally versed in both types of books, and I can tell you that the key to good writing is clarity. And it doesn't matter if we're writing a novel, it doesn't matter if we're writing an entrepreneur expert book, it doesn't matter if we're writing a shopping list for our spouse. We need to be clear on what it is that we're trying to communicate. And so that's just central to all good writing. Now, of course, the structure of a novel will be intrinsically different from the structure of an expert book. And some people, me, for example, when I write fiction, I am 100% a pantser, but when I sit down and I write my expert books, when I'm writing nonfiction, I'm an outliner. So it's really about finding who you are as a writer and going with that. And really that's the premise of all of the work that I do with writers, is finding your best writer and letting it rip.
This knowledge, I had never heard the word pantser before, but flying by the seat of your pants, I get it. That kind of maybe lack of structure, lack of organizational rigidity. You help entrepreneurs clarify their messages. And so how do you take what is in essence a pantser and give them order? And when you do, are they no longer a pantser?
No, you're still a pantser. Ultimately, the writing process comes in two parts. There's a creative part and there's an organizational part. And some pantsers take a long time creating and then a long time organizing. People who tend to be a little shorter on those intervals like to call themselves outliners, but they're actually still pantsers. A true outliner is someone who sets out at the beginning, writes an outline, and then the book looks exactly the way that the outline happened. So, I think everyone must have a creative phase, and everyone must at some point organize their thoughts and their writing. However, it comes at different intervals for every individual writer.
Okay, so at what point, Annalisa, do we then decide, you know what, I'm just going to get a ghostwriter and or I'll talk into the dictaphone. Do we still have those? I'll talk into my smartphone and record what I'm wanting to say and just send that off for somebody else to make sense of it.
I mean, that's an individual choice for everyone. Certainly time would be a factor there. It takes time to write a book, and it takes even more time to write a book that is clear and will therefore meet our audience where they are and will sell. Taking on a ghostwriter, of course, is trusting someone to interpret your message. So there's a time investment there as well. I would say, a lot of the entrepreneurs, especially that I work with, but even some of the fiction writers that I work with, will speak their books into their phone and clean it up later, especially for people who are strong verbal processors. That's a really great way to work through the creative phase.
I love it. Our guest is Annalisa Parent. She is the senior editor of Laurel Elite Books and a seasoned writing coach. Annalisa, do you want us to send our listeners to your website maybe to pick up a copy of this book?
Yeah, absolutely. They can pick it up at storytellingforpantsers.com. It's also, of course, available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and bookstores everywhere.
There you go. Storytelling for Pantsers. That's spelled Pantsers. Storytellingforpantsers.com. Intended to help you get some grounding in what you do, find a system that's going to work, and move within the chaos of pantsing. And I find your sense of humor is evident in everything that you do. I'm loving this, Annalisa. You've got some quirks about you that I read about. Share with us one or two of your quirkier sides, if you don't mind.
Oh gosh, where to start?
Let's start with green beans.
Oh my gosh, I love green beans more than chocolate. It's absolutely true. I could eat green beans for the rest of my life.
What happened to you?
I came out all wrong.
No, I think you're doing a great job. The book again is goodness, where'd it go? Storytelling for Pantsers, how to outline and revise your novel without an outline. The website is the same, storytellingforpantsers.com. Go get a copy because I believe that everybody has a book in them. And Annalisa, do you believe also that people are out there, they've just got something to write, they just don't know how to get past chapter 1?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Everyone's got at least one book in them.
All right. Well, there we go. Annalisa, I want to thank you for joining us here on the Experience Pros Radio Show. Good stuff. Solid program. I believe in what you're doing, and I think more people should get on the bus and start writing their books.
Thank you. I do too. Thank you so much, Aaron. Absolutely.
That's Annalisa Parent. And again, the website, Storytelling for Pantsers, Pantsers.com, how to outline and revise your novel without an outline. And, if you just think, gosh, I wish I could, reach out to Annalisa at that website and see if maybe she can't give you a kick in the pants in the right direction. We'll be back with more positive business talk, put a bow on this thing, wrap it up for you. Right after these messages, please remember to do business with the people who do business with the pros. That's how we get to stay on the air. That's how you get the best deals and best service. Back after this.
You're listening to the